Morning, guys. Right, I'm not going to hang around too long. Basically, last night, after I got into the tent, for about half an hour after I got in, it just started raining, and it rained for about 5 hours straight. Saturated the ground, the wind picked up, started blowing pegs out, stakes, tent came down twice. So basically, midnight, I had to get out, go and find rocks the size of small children to put on the stakes to have a chance of making it through the night. Didn't get an ounce of sleep all night. Did spend at one point about an hour sat holding both the poles. It's been the only night where I've actually felt dead scared and actually contemplated, am I better off packing up and leaving rather than staying? It was that bad. If it hadn't been for the fact that it was chucking it down, I maybe would have packed up. But this morning, I've come up a huge climb. It's been an absolute monster, really steep. The wind hasn't let up for 12 hours now. It's just been gusting and gusting. It's insane. I've never known anything like it. But the problem I have is I've just been battering on up this uphill and I've missed a turning. And now I'm heading up towards 1500 feet and I'm completely off trail. I need to be at the bottom of that valley down there where the river is. So I'm not going back the way I came. I'm not going back down the mountain. I can see the trail from here that I need, and I'm going to try and bushwhack down this hillside. If it's not doable, it's not doable. I come back up, but I've got to risk it. It's going to take ages going back down the way I came. I had no business doing that at all. That was completely stupid. I've made it to the bottom, pretty much the bottom. You drop into the dry riverbed, and 3/4 of the way down you do actually follow you pick up the sort of riverbed coming down, so it makes it a lot easier. But that was some of the scariest stuff I've done ever, and I shouldn't have done that at all. That was stupid. Nobody would have ever found me down there. There's no path. That would have been it. So, as you can see now, I'm down in the old riverbed. Just got to watch my footing, and then at some point I do pick up the trail. I'm just going to check on that in a second. Pick up the trail on the right hand side and climb out. So, made it to a town called Alcaucin, possibly. Doesn't seem to be a great deal here. Quite a few hotels and stuff, but I'm not going to stop. I've not filmed much today because I wanted to get here as soon as possible, as soon as I could, because of that detour I took wrong this morning. I've lost myself a couple of hours there, and I'm going to push on now onto the next stage. which is about an 18-kilometre stage to the next town. Whether I'll make it there tonight or not, I don't know, but we'll see. It goes through a national park, so fingers crossed. There's not going to, well, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of climbing. Certainly not as much climbing and descent as there has been today. Today's descent coming down into this town was crazy steep. That's the thing, you don't realise how far you're going up or coming down because the paths are so bloody steep, and they're a little bit worrying in places. I did see some ibex, some wild ibex. It just reminded me of that metal one up there on the wall, and I've never seen those in the wild before, and actually got quite close to them. It's quite cool. So that was nice, and I think I also saw some, I think they were young mountain goats possibly. I might be wrong, but it looked like that was what they were. So yeah, there's some cool bits in here. Nice old, is it a tree? I don't know, possibly. Just popped into a supermarket, got a few drinks, some more chocolate bars. I've been getting through the food in my bag quite quickly, so stocked up on a little bit more, and I'm just going to set off again. My legs have seized up a bit, so fingers crossed they'll start working again shortly. Hello. So, sorry about the wind noise. I left the town whose name I can't pronounce a little while ago, and you come up into a national park, or I think Spanish version's a natural park, same thing. It's absolutely beautiful. It's Bernard Matthews, it's beautiful. And I've only seen two people. They've just passed me on bikes now, electric bikes. The walking is so much nicer than what's been going on the last day. So you're all backed. I'll show you. Hang on a second. So you're back to these beautiful wide dirt roads, and it's just there's a couple of steep bits, not much, and it's just a gentle, gradual climb. You climb about, I think it's about 520 metres out of town. But it's amazing how nice it is compared to fighting your way through all that gorse. I mean, my legs are absolutely scratched to hell and back. As soon as anything touches them, it's painful. The trail this morning, early this afternoon, was so overgrown, and you've just got no option just to barge through. But it's been such a difference. I've got to admit, I was really down this morning. We're taking that wrong turn and what had happened last night with the tent, not getting any sleep. The terrain, I wasn't making the progress I wanted to. That's why I just kind of got my head down and got to that last town. So this has kind of cheered me up a bit. Beautiful scenery, and with it being so easy walking, I know this stage is 18 kilometres, but there's a chance I might be able to crack that out this afternoon and this evening. It's certainly nice walking conditions. I did check the weather forecast when I was in town, because I had some internet, so I checked it. There's I think it was about a 1% chance of rain, and more importantly, the wind speed was at 26 kilometres an hour from what I can remember. Now, I have no idea what the wind speed was last night, but I am betting at times it was over double that. It was weird when I went up that wrong climb this morning. I looked back down, you could see the wind was just whipping down off the mountaintops, and where I was camped was like the bottleneck. And unfortunately for me, I'd put my tent the wrong way around. I'd put it the right way around for the wind at the time, but it shifted several times during the night, and it was just getting absolutely hammered. That poor tent. I mean, I'm under no illusions. If I'd have brought my Rainbow Lee, the tarp tent, with a carbon fibre pole, it would be destroyed. I know for certain that carbon fibre pole at least would have smashed, because the forces last night, they were just crazy. Anyway, tonight I've learnt my lesson. If I end up in the tent tonight, I am going to go for shelter over views and convenience. So I'll probably end up going off trail into something like this and looking for a flat spot somewhere like that, if I can. But yeah, very pleased today. The views are, you can't see much now, but the views have been beautiful in this park so far. So, and I know that I am almost at the top of this climb, so when I get to the top, I'm going to have maybe some Pepsi that I bought in town, and some form of choco bar that I also bought in town. Have a little break. Hola. Alright, so I ended up doing that entire section, which was nearly 19 kilometres, in 3.5 hours. So that was just silly. It was really easy walking. And I got to this town called Ventastafaria or something like that. And I thought, you know what, I'll get a hotel tonight. And no hotels. Quite a big town. No hotels. So I rang somewhere down the road that was a 10-minute drive away, hoping they would say, yeah, we'll come and pick you up. No, not interested. No buses, no taxis, although this cart track seems quite popular. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, the scenery's quite nice. Really open on that side. It's come through a nice little stone tunnel as well, carved out the hillside. It's cooled down a bit as well. I think I'm just going to pop my little black gloves on again, because my hands are really cold. Just got sat for sort of 20 minutes or so in town trying to sort something out hotel wise, and it's just not worked, so never mind. Carry on going. This next stage is stage 6. It's about 24 kilometres long. So if I get some of that knocked out tonight, that's a good thing for tomorrow. Way ahead of where I thought I would be and where I hoped I would be, especially with that kerfuffle this morning with the wrong direction and all that. Anyway, we'll crack on with it. Good morning. So day 4. Beautiful morning. Really nice weather. Lovely scenery as well. So last night I was on a trail, a nice wide dirt track. I was looking for somewhere to camp, but basically the problem I had was it was all private land and it was full of I don't know if they were olive trees or what, but it was some sort of very large plantation you were walking through. So I did have internet. Did a quick Google search and found this place near some old Roman baths. It was a couple of kilometres off trail. That had availability. So I walked off. I got there about 8:30, something like that. I only booked it like maybe about 7 p.m, something like that, online when I found it. Got there about 8:30 and there's no one around, all in darkness. I'm like, oh no. It's starting to get quite cold as well. My legs were killing me. Obviously hadn't slept the night before and done about probably 35 kilometres yesterday, so I was pretty tired. Anyway, I rang the number and it was a lady who was mortified. She was in Malaga and she hadn't seen the email. She owns the holiday apartments, and she was mortified that she hadn't seen the email, the booking. Well, Malaga's about an hour away, so it was very good of her to drive out. She drove out. Yeah, everyone's got dogs around here. She drove out. I waited there for an hour. It was very cold by that time, but she was really nice. Came up with her husband, gave me something to drink, made me a bit of food. I think they had the apartment next door. So I got a bath as well. It was nice to see a bath. Soaked my legs, which has definitely helped because they were stiff as boards last night. I finally got to sleep. I got into bed about midnight-ish and I just slept straight through until 9:30 this morning when my alarm went off. The wooden shutters they have on the windows over here, it's just like painting the windows black. It doesn't let an ounce of light in, so it's really, really nice. But yeah, I don't know whether you'd call this a village or a town or what. There's not a lot of stuff here. Some nice little houses. That one's for sale if you fancy it, if you're in the market. It's wagon past. So I think most of it is uphill back to the trail. I'm not too fussed. It was worth it for the rest I got last night. Give me a chance as well to wash my socks, because I think what's been happening is there's been loads of tiny grains of, I think it's quartz, some sort of rock or mineral anyway. Tiny grains of that just sort of like embedded into the socks, and I've been getting this pain in my heels, just like sandpaper basically. Oh, narrow roads, but yeah, these views are pretty sweet. Alright, so that's me. Morning check-in done for now. Worked my way back up to a tiny little place called Guaro, which was where I turned off last night, and pick up the trail from there. Next village is in about 15 kilometres or so, I believe. Alright guys, so just a quick video. I've made it to Rio Gordo, which was about 15 kilometres from my starting point this morning. It was easy walking on trail, but to be honest, I've been finding it quite difficult. I am pretty tired, my legs hurt, my feet hurt, and just been finding it tough going this morning. So I think it's around about 3 PM now. I've just sat and had a little coffee and a beer at a cafe. Talked to a couple of English guys who were cycling. They're expats, they live here. They said I've got 3 days of crappy weather coming, and then after that it's much improved. So there's a good and bad there, I suppose. I've just brought our boss a whacking great sandwich. Look at the size of that. I thought the lady was going to put like a couple of slices of cheese or a couple of slices of ham inside, but she put the entire packet of each in there. So yeah, I'm gonna tuck into that on the move shortly. The next village is about another 15 kilometres away, maybe a little bit more actually, called Villanueva de Cauche or Villanueva de Cauche, I can't remember. There's nothing there and it looks quite urban, for want of a better word. Hola. I think you kind of camped under the motor, near the motorway. So we'll see if it's going to be a tent job tonight somewhere or a B&B or something like that, if it's possible to find one. Weather's cooled right down and clouded over, so possibly going to be in for some rain a little later, I don't know. We'll see how things go. Anyway, it's time for a sandwich and some more walking. Well, that was about half a kilometre of the hardest walking I've done yet. It was slightly uphill, but the reason why it was so hard was because of the stupid mud. If you stood too long in it, like I am now, to take a breath, you started sinking, and yet every time you lifted your foot up, it added more mud onto your shoe. So that's what I've just come out with. You can see I brought half of the field with me on both shoes, and you can't even shake it off. It's that sticky, it's just stuck there. That's my trekking pole, which I've only got the small baskets, the tiny little baskets on the end there. You can kind of, oh, there we go, look at that, it's in there. Good God, that was so difficult. Talk about leg day, Jesus. So yeah, I've just stopped. I've actually bypassed 2 hotels I could have stopped in tonight for about £30 a room. I really wanted to. I mean, it's about 5 PM now. I could have just done with getting into bed at like 4:30 and just sleeping, because I am absolutely shattered. I'm still not caught up from the other night. Bloody mud. Sorry, I'm doing this and shaking my foot at the same time, trying to get some mud off. I wanted to crack on and try and at least get to the end of stage 7 by close of play today. I think I'm maybe about halfway there. It doesn't actually finish in a town as such, from what I can gather. It's just like a little place. I don't think there's a great deal of stuff there, so I don't really know what's going to happen tonight for sleeping, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. The scenery today has been really nice for the most part. The last sort of couple of hours, most of the day, there's been a lot of road walking, but the views have been fantastic. So I'm going to carry on up this hill, see where it brings me out, and try and shake some of this bloody mud off. Good afternoon. Well, probably more like good evening. I think it's around about 6:30. Got away from Mudville. Took me a good 5 minutes to scrape it off both boots. Well, most of it, some of it's still stuck there on the trekking poles, but never mind. So it's basically just like from there it is a 7-kilometre road walk to the end point, and I can just see now in the distance the main road that I cross. I assume it's a motorway, some description. Again, there doesn't look to be a great deal there, so hopefully be able to find somewhere to tent tonight. Just been looking at the maps for the next few days, and so this is stage 7 that I'm on now. Stage 8 looked to be quite easy and shortish, and then you start getting into kind of the 26-kilometre day stages, and they look to be quite challenging, a lot of up and a lot of down, a lot more than there has been these last few days. So I'm thinking that a decent rest ahead of that might be good idea. What I'd also like to do, if I can get to a town with a decent shopping facility, I'd like to get some tape, some like sports tape, some Luco tape, and just tape my feet up, because I'm in quite a bit of pain now along the heels, along the balls of the feet, the outsides of my little toes. Everything's just stinging basically. It'd be real nice if I could find some insoles as well with some squishiness to them, because these are pretty rock solid in here. But I don't know if that's going to happen for a while yet. I think it's going to take me a while to find a town with any sort of decent shop. So anyway, just keep popping painkillers until I run out of them.